Maya stared at the motorcycle that had just taken its last breath. Middle of the country road, of course, because her life wasn't complicated enough already. Her father's old Triumph motorcycle, the only thing she had left of him. And now this. It was just before midnight. No shop would be open now. She scrolled through Google Maps anyway, desperate, hopeful. There. Jake's motorcycle workshop, 3 kilometers away. A small green dot. Open. She pushed the motorcycle for what felt like forever through the night, until she finally saw the flickering neon sign. The workshop looked run down. Graffiti on the walls, broken glass in the yard, oil stains everywhere. Not exactly confidence-inspiring, but she had no choice. Maya knocked on the metal rolling door. Nothing. She knocked louder. "We're closed." A voice from inside, rough, annoyed. "The sign says otherwise," she called back. Silence. Then footsteps. The door opened halfway, and she looked into the face of a man who definitely wasn't happy to see her. He was tall, black hair falling slightly into his face, tattooed forearms smeared with motor oil. His dark eyes studied her with a mixture of distrust and boredom. Google Maps lies. We're closed. "Please, my motorcycle just died. I just need someone to look at it." "Tomorrow. Come back tomorrow." He started to close the door, but she stuck her foot between it and the frame. "It was my father's motorcycle. It's all I have left of him. Please." She hated begging, but something in her voice must have reached him because he paused. His gaze wandered to the Triumph behind her, and for a second she saw something flash in his eyes. Recognition, maybe. Respect. Bonneville T120? 68? 67. "Bring it in." Maya pushed the motorcycle into the workshop. Inside it smelled of oil, metal, and old leather. Motorcycles in various stages of disassembly stood everywhere. Tools hung on the wall, neatly sorted. He knelt beside her motorcycle, his hands gliding over the tank as if examining an injured animal. "Carburetor. Maybe the spark plugs, too. I'll have to check it in daylight tomorrow. Need to order parts. Will take a week, minimum." "A week? But I need it. For university. For my job." "Then you should have had it serviced." His voice was cold, but not mean, just factual. He stood up, wiped his hands on a dirty rag. €300. Deposit 100 now." Maya swallowed, nodded, pulled out her card. He pointed to an old card reader on the counter. While she paid, she observed him from the corner of her eye. He leaned against the workbench, arms crossed, watching her too. When their eyes met, she quickly looked away. "I'll come by the day after tomorrow. Check how far you've gotten." "As you wish." 2 days later, Maya stood in front of the workshop again, this time in daylight. It didn't look any better. She stepped inside, heard music from an old radio, Metallica. He was lying under a black chopper, only his legs visible. "Hello?" He rolled out on the creeper board, looked up at her. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or something else. He stood up, grabbed a rag. "Checking on your bike?" "If that's okay." He walked to the back where her Triumph stood on a lift. Parts were laid out neatly beside it. He explained what was wrong, what needed to be replaced. Technical details she only half understood, but she listened anyway because his voice when he talked about motorcycles had a different quality. Passionate. Alive. "It'll be ready in 5 days. Maybe 6. "And the cost?" "Like I said, 300. Maybe a bit more if I find other issues." Maya nodded. She should leave, let him work. But she found herself asking, "How long have you been doing this? Fixing motorcycles?" "Since I was 14. My father had a shop. Taught me everything." Past tense. She noticed, but didn't ask. That's a long time. Long enough. He looked at her directly for the first time since she'd arrived. His dark eyes held hers. You really love that bike. It was my father's. He died 2 years ago. Left it to me. I learned to ride just so I could use it, keep it alive somehow. He nodded slowly. Then I'll make sure it runs perfectly. Your father would want that. Something in her chest tightened at those words. Thank you. That means a lot. Come back Thursday. Should be done by then. Maya left feeling strange, warm somehow, like something had shifted between them, something small but real. Thursday came. She returned to the workshop in the late afternoon. He was waiting, her Triumph gleaming beside him, clearly cleaned and cared for beyond just the repair. You cleaned it. It needed it. He handed her the keys. Try it. She climbed on, started the engine. It purred perfectly. Smooth, strong, better than it had sounded in months. She looked at him grinning. This is incredible. What did you do to it? Fixed what was broken, tuned what wasn't. It's a good bike. Deserves to run right. She climbed off, pulled out her wallet. How much do I owe you? $280. Found the problem faster than expected. You undercharged me. I charged what's fair. Maya paid, took her keys, but hesitated. I'm Maya, by the way. Maya Moore. Moved here 3 weeks ago. Don't think I ever properly introduced myself. Jax. He didn't offer a last name. Just stood there with that intensity that seemed to be his default setting. Jax, she repeated. Thank you again, really. You saved me. Just doing my job. She should go, should ride home, but she heard herself saying, do you ever take a break? Grab coffee or something? Why? Because I'd like to buy you coffee, as a thank you. He studied her for a long moment. His expression was unreadable. Then, not coffee, but there's a diner 2 blocks from here. Best burgers in the city. If you want to say thank you, meet me there at 7. Was that an invitation? Was Jax actually asking her out? Tonight? Tonight, 7. I'll be there. He nodded once. Park out back when you come. Your bike will be safe here while we eat. He'd already assumed she'd ride the Triumph there, already thought ahead about where she'd park it safely. Maya felt warmth spreading through her chest. Okay, 7. See you then. She rode home on her perfectly running motorcycle, grinning like an idiot the entire way. The diner was exactly what he'd promised. Small, slightly run down, but the smell coming from the kitchen was incredible. Jax was already there, sitting in a corner booth, wearing a black leather jacket over a dark gray shirt. He looked up when she walked in, and something in his expression softened, just slightly. You came. You thought I wouldn't? Wasn't sure. He gestured to the seat across from him. People say things they don't mean. I don't. Maya slid into the booth. When I say I'll be somewhere, I show up. Good to know. A waitress appeared, older woman with kind eyes and a knowing smile. Hey, Jax, usual? Please, and whatever she wants. Maya ordered a burger and fries. When the waitress left, an awkward silence settled between them. Not uncomfortable exactly, just uncertain. 2 people trying to figure out what this was. So, Maya started, you've been here a while, in this town? Born here, never left. Never wanted to? He shrugged. This is home. My father's buried here. The shop is here. Don't need to be anywhere else. That's rare. Most people want to escape where they grew up. Most people don't have good reasons to stay. His eyes met hers. What about you? What brought you here? New job. I work for a publishing house now. Editorial assistant. It was a good opportunity. Fresh start. Running from something? The question was direct, almost invasive, but his tone wasn't judgmental, just curious, maybe. Or running towards something. Haven't decided which yet. Fair answer. Their food arrived, and they ate in comfortable silence for a while. The burger was as good as promised. Maya watched Jax eat, noticed the way he moved. Controlled, precise, like everything he did was deliberate. Can I ask you something? She ventured. Go ahead. Why did you invite me here, really? He set down his burger, looked at her directly. Because when you walked into my shop 3 days ago, desperate about your father's bike, I saw something. Someone who actually cares, who isn't just treating a motorcycle like a tool. And when you came back today, asked me to coffee, I thought maybe I wanted to know you better. That's honest. I don't see the point in being anything else. Maya smiled. I like that, honesty. It's refreshing. Most people find it uncomfortable. I'm not most people. No. His eyes held hers. You're not. Something passed between them. Recognition, maybe. Understanding. Like they were both people who didn't quite fit the normal patterns and had found each other by accident. They talked for 2 hours about motorcycles and books and the city and life. Jax was surprisingly easy to talk to once he opened up. Dry sense of humor, thoughtful observations, questions that showed he was actually listening. He told her about growing up in his father's shop, learning engines before he learned algebra, the satisfaction of fixing something broken and making it whole again. She told him about her love of books, the dream of becoming an editor, the complicated relationship with her father who died before they could resolve their differences, leaving her only the motorcycle and unfinished conversations. When the diner started closing, they walked out together. The night air was cool. Her motorcycle was parked under a streetlight, gleaming. Thank you for tonight, Maya said. I know you don't do this often, the whole dinner with a customer thing. You're not a customer anymore. Bike's fixed, you paid, transaction's done. So what am I now? He stepped closer, just slightly. His voice dropped lower. Someone I want to see again, if you want that too. Her breath caught. I want that. Tomorrow? She laughed. You move fast. I know what I want. Don't see the point in waiting. Tomorrow then, but my place this time. I'll cook. Well, I'll attempt to cook. Fair warning, I'm not great at it. I'll bring wine. And low expectations. She grinned. Perfect. He walked her to her bike, waited while she put on her helmet. As she started the engine, he leaned down to her eye level. Drive safe, Maya. Always. She rode home with her heart racing and a smile she couldn't wipe off her face. Over the next 3 weeks, they fell into a pattern. Dinners at her place or his, long conversations that stretched past midnight, slow revelation of who they really were beneath the surface. Maya learned that Jax was more than just a mechanic. He read philosophy, loved old films, had a collection of vinyl records that he played on a vintage turntable. He was thoughtful, careful with his words, but when he spoke, it mattered. She also noticed other things, the way people in the neighborhood treated him with a certain respect that seemed excessive for a mechanic. The men in leather jackets who sometimes stopped by his shop, conversations that stopped when she appeared, the subtle tension in his shoulders when certain topics came up. But she didn't push, didn't ask. Whatever Jax was beyond the man who fixed her motorcycle and made her laugh, she'd learn when he was ready to tell her. Until the night everything changed. She was walking to his apartment around 8 in the evening, carrying takeout Thai food they'd planned to share. As she approached his building, she saw 3 men standing near the entrance. Not residents, not delivery guys, just standing there, watching. Something about them made her uncomfortable. The way they held themselves, the way their eyes tracked movement on the street. Then Jax appeared from inside. He wasn't alone. 2 men flanked him, both wearing leather jackets, both moving with purpose. The 3 men waiting straightened. One stepped forward, hands visible but body language aggressive. Maya froze on the sidewalk, half hidden behind a parked car. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but the tension was obvious. The man who'd stepped forward was angry, gesturing sharply. Jax's response was calm, quiet, but his entire body had changed, harder, more dangerous. The standoff lasted maybe 30 seconds. Then Jax said something final, definitive. One of the men with him moved slightly forward, protective. The 3 strangers looked at each other, then back down. They walked away, glancing back once, but they walked away. Jax watched until they turned the corner. Then he said something to the men with him, brief. They nodded and dispersed. He looked around the street, scanning. His eyes found her. Caught. No way to pretend she hadn't seen. No way to unsee what she'd just witnessed. They looked at each other across the distance. His face was unreadable. Then he walked toward her. Maya didn't move, couldn't decide if she should run or stay or pretend everything was normal. He stopped in front of her. "How much did you see?" "Enough." "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough to know that mechanics don't usually have meetings like that on the street." His jaw tightened. "Come upstairs. We need to talk." "Jax, please, come upstairs. Let me explain." She should say no, should go home and lock her door and rethink this entire relationship, should recognize the warning signs and walk away. Instead, she said, "Okay." They rode the elevator in tense silence, walked to his apartment. He unlocked the door, held it open for her. His apartment looked the same, comfortable, safe, but now she saw it differently, noticed things she'd overlooked. The security system was more sophisticated than normal. There were cameras, a room off the hallway that was always closed that he'd never shown her. Jax went to the kitchen, poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed her one. "Sit, please." She sat on his couch. He sat beside her, angled toward her, close but not touching. "What you saw, that was business." "Business?" Maya set down her glass. "Jax, don't do that. Don't treat me like I'm stupid. Those men weren't customers. That wasn't a business negotiation. That was something else." His jaw tightened. "You're right. I'm sorry. You deserve honesty." He took a breath. "I told you my father had a shop. That's true. But it wasn't just a repair shop. It was a front. My father was part of a motorcycle club, not the charity ride on weekends kind, the real kind. Outlaws, 1%ers. He ran guns, moved product, controlled territory. I grew up in that world, learned engines, but I also learned the other side, how things really work, who has power and how to keep it." "You're saying you're in a gang." The word hung between them, heavy, undeniable. "I'm saying I inherited my father's position. When he died, his responsibilities became mine. The shop is legitimate. I fix bikes, I pay taxes, everything's clean. But I also handle other business, territory disputes, product movement, making sure people respect boundaries. What you saw outside was a negotiation, another club trying to push into our territory. I was explaining why that won't work. And if they hadn't backed down, then it would have been handled. But it didn't come to that. It rarely does. Most problems are solved through conversation, respect, tradition. Violence is messy and expensive and draws attention nobody wants." Maya tried to process this. The man who brought her wine and talked about Sartre was part of an outlaw motorcycle club, an actual criminal organization. "The men who come to your shop," she said slowly, "they're not customers. Some are, but many are club members, brothers, yes. And those 2 men with you outside? Axel and Reaper, my seconds. They handle security, enforcement, logistics." "Enforcement?" She laughed without humor. "Is that code for violence?" "Sometimes, when necessary, when people break agreements or threaten what's ours. But we have rules, lines we don't cross. We don't deal hard drugs, we don't hurt civilians, we don't involve innocents. Everything we do is contained within our world, our rules, our consequences. But people do get hurt in your world. Sometimes, yes, when they choose to fight instead of talk, when they threaten brothers, when they leave no other choice." "Have you hurt people?" He didn't flinch. "Yes." "Have you killed people?" "Once. A man who tried to kill my brother, who left me no choice. I won't lie to you about that." Maya felt dizzy. This was too much, too dangerous, too real. "Why are you telling me all this? You could have lied, could have kept it hidden." "Because you deserve truth. Because I care about you. Because if we're going to continue this, you need to know exactly who I am, what I am, and you need to decide if you can accept it." "And if I can't?" His expression tightened. Pain flickered across his face. "Then I'll respect that. I'll stay away from you, I'll make sure you're protected, but I'll let you go." "Just like that?" "No, not just like that. It would destroy me. but I'd do it because your safety and your choice matter more than what I want." She searched his face, saw sincerity there, saw fear that he was trying to hide, fear that she'd walk away. "Jax." She moved closer, put her hands on his chest, felt his heart racing under her palms. "I should be scared right now. I should be running. Every rational part of my brain is screaming at me to get out. But I'm not scared. Not of you. I've seen you with me. I've seen how careful you are, how gentle, how you listen when I talk and remember things I say. That's who you are to me. And yes, you're also part of this club, this dangerous world I don't understand. But that doesn't change how I feel about you." "How do you feel about me?" She met his eyes. "I'm falling in love with you, maybe already have, and that probably makes me crazy, but it's true. I love the mechanic and the outlaw and everything in between." His hands came up to frame her face. "Maya, are you sure? Because once you're in my life, really in it, there's no pretending you don't know. There are risks, complications. I can protect you, but I can't promise there won't be moments like today where you see things that scare you. I don't need promises of perfection. I need honesty, which you just gave me. And I need to know you'll always tell me the truth, that you'll keep me safe, that this is real. It's real. More real than anything I've felt before. I love you. Think I loved you from the moment you walked into my shop, desperate about your father's bike. You saw me as just a mechanic, just a guy, not the club VP, just Jax. And I needed that, needed you." He kissed her then, deep and desperate and relieved. She kissed back with everything she had, hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, she said, "So we're doing this, for real, with everything out in the open?" "If you want to." "I want to, but I need you to promise me something. Anything. Don't ever lie to me about what you do. I don't need all the details, I don't need to know every operation, but if I ask, you tell me the truth, and if something puts me at risk, you tell me immediately. I promise. Complete honesty, always." "Okay then." She took a shaky breath. "We're doing this." They held each other for a long time. Outside, the city hummed with life. Inside, something new settled between them, built on truth and choice and love that was real enough to weather complications. The next morning, Jax kept his promise. He told her about the club structure, the president, Razor, who ran everything, the officers, the prospects, the hangarounds. He explained territories, legitimate businesses they owned, the difference between support clubs and rivals. He told her about loyalty, brotherhood, family, about the code they lived by, the rules that governed everything. And he told her about the risks, rivals, law enforcement, internal conflicts, the constant weight of watching his back, protecting his brothers, maintaining order. "Sunday runs," he said over breakfast. "The club rides every Sunday, big group, loud, important. It's tradition, it's sacred, part of who we are. You want me to come? I'd like you to meet them, but only when you're ready, no pressure." "Next Sunday. If I'm in this, I'm in all the way. Might as well meet the family." He looked at her with something like wonder. "You're incredible, you know that?" "I'm terrified, but doing it anyway. That's what courage is." The Sunday run was exactly as advertised. 30 bikes, leather everywhere, noise and power and brotherhood. The club members were surprisingly welcoming, rough around the edges but respectful once Jax made clear she was his. Razor, the president, pulled her aside after the ride. "So you're the one who's got our VP going soft?" She smiled. "I hope that's okay. He's happier, laughs more, seems lighter. That's you. I'd like to think I contribute." Razor studied her. "You know what he is, what we do?" "I know enough." "And you stay anyway." "I stay because I love him, not despite what he is, because of who he is. All of it." "Smart girl. Welcome to the family. But if you hurt him, we'll have words." "Understood. Same goes for him hurting me." Razor actually smiled. "I like her, Jax. he called across the parking lot. "Keep this one." Over the next few months, they fell into a rhythm. Her work during the day, his shop and club business, evenings together whenever possible. She learned names and roles, met brothers and their families, understood the hierarchy, the rules, the world Jax lived in, and sometimes she saw the darker side. Jax coming home late with tension in his shoulders, conversations that stopped when she appeared, Axel and Reaper moving with purpose that suggested trouble somewhere. But Jax kept his promise. When she asked, he told her. Never graphic details, but enough truth that she understood. There were problems with rivals. There were shipments that needed protection. There was always something that required handling. 6 months after that first meeting in his shop, Jax took her on a ride, just the two of them, out to a cliff overlooking the ocean, sunset painting everything gold and red. They sat on his bike, her arms around him, watching the sky change colors. "I need to ask you something," he said. "Okay. This thing we have, you and me, it works, doesn't it?" "It does. I love what we have. So here's my question." He reached into his jacket, pulled out a small box, opened it. A ring. Simple silver band with a small diamond. "Maya, I love you. I want to marry you. I want you riding beside me for the rest of my life. Partners in everything. What do you say?" Maya stared at the ring, at him, at this man who'd given her truth and protection and love without conditions. "Yes, God, yes. I'll marry you and ride beside you and break all the rules with you. All of it. Yes." He slid the ring on her finger, kissed her like they were the only two people in the world. "I love you," he said against her lips. "I love you too, you impossible perfect man." They married 3 months later, small ceremony at a bar the club owned, brothers and close friends, leather and lace, traditional but uniquely theirs. When the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Jax cupped her face and kissed her like he'd been waiting his entire life for this moment. At the reception, Razor gave a toast to Jax and Maya, who prove that love doesn't follow rules, who build their life their way, who are stubborn and perfect together. To the VP and his old lady, cheers. Years later, people would ask how they made it work, how she stayed with an outlaw, how they balanced her normal life with his dangerous one, and they'd smile and say it was simple. They made their own rules, built their life their way, started with a broken motorcycle and ended with forever. Maya had walked into a stranger's shop asking for help and found everything she didn't know she needed. A man who saw her, who loved her, who gave her partnership without pretense, who understood that sometimes the best relationships are the ones that break all the conventional rules. She needed her motorcycle fixed. She found home, right beside the love of her life, exactly where she belonged.